Hello, my loves. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 6. If you're new here, I'm Shawnee of 11 Moons. I am an astrologer, spiritual counselor, and energy healer. And my channel is all about mindfulness, spiritual empowerment, and astrology. So if those things interest you, definitely tune in. Sometimes I come in and to just give some real talk about my life. And so, you can tune into that as well. Make sure that regardless, you thumbs up the video, subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know that you are here. And if you're interested in one-on-one services, you can visit 11moons11.com. That's the word 11, moons plural, the number 11.com. All right. Now let's get into this. Today I'm going to talk about God. Okay. So if you're rolling your eyes and stomping your feet, listen, heathen, this video may not be for you. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, I'm not about to get up here and preach to y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all the truth about what God is and how to get closer to God outside of the bounds of religion. First of all, I want to point out that we cannot continue trying to define God by human labels and using these identifications of the flesh to put God into a box. God is not woman, God is not man, God is not black, white, Asian, Middle Eastern, Hispanic, okay? God is not rich or poor. God is not of low status, high status, middle class. God is energy. God is a divine intelligence. God is a vibration that transcends our human awareness. There is not enough words in our language to be able to explain fully what God is. We just have to know and understand that God is present in everything, okay? It's not about the flesh and the ideal of the physical makeup of God, okay? It's about the silent intelligence that goes into plants, animals, the sun, the moon, the planets, the stars, us as humans, and everything around us, okay? And once you come to an understanding of that, building a relationship with God becomes easier because you begin to understand that God is within you and all around you. God is not some far off entity that we have to conjure up. God is within you and all around you. Okay? Once you decide, okay, I'm going to tap into that divine intelligence, this is where you find purpose. This is where you find clarity and direction. This is where you find favor. This is where you find love. This is where you find abundance. Okay? But you have to understand that God is not just a genie that you rub your little magic lamp and you say, oh God, I wish, I wish, I wish. I wish, I wish, I wish. I wish I may, I wish I might, I wish upon a star tonight. I wish, I wish, I wish. Okay, like it's not how it works. You don't get what you want or wish in life. You get what you believe. You get what you know. So unless you're ready to sharpen your beliefs or your knowledge, you're not going to get shit. And then you can't blame God for that because that has nothing to do with God. God gave us the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. God gave us plenty on earth and the ability to create and evolve so that we can have everything that we could possibly think of, which thought becomes life. There was a time when cell phones did not exist. There was a time when the internet did not exist. There was a time when things like this salt lamp right here, dang, this thing is heavy, did not exist. Okay? There was a time when we didn't have books, but somebody thought of it, and then somebody thought about how to make it, and then the next thing you know, there you go. It's here. When it says God made us in his image, that's what it means. God gave us free will and the ability to create. And it's up to us to create things that are for our evolution and not just ours alone, but for the evolution and advancement of the collective world around us. We have become so disconnected and we have devolved so far away from the true universal principles. And whether you want to refer to God as God, the universe, great mother, goddess, mother, father, God, I don't care what you want, the name you want to put on it does not matter. I need you to understand that just like you are an energy that never dies and can never be destroyed and that's only transferred, God is also an energy that never dies, can never be destroyed, and is only transferred into thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. And the travesty, destruction, division, confusion that you see today, these are due to sins of man. Don't have nothing to do with God. And you know why God is not interfering in it? Because these things are not of nature. And when I say that, I don't mean everything good comes from God and everything bad is not of God. The point that I'm making to you, if it's not of nature, God has no control over it. It's you. It's you that's pulling the strings and has the control of it. So if man doesn't want to be empowered and unified, it's going to continue to be divided. If man does not want to be intelligent, will continue to devolve and be illiterate. As long as y'all want to listen to all the trap music and watch all the ratchet shows and go crazy over who's beating whose ass on television today instead of picking up a book, reading and learning something, this is the society that we are going to have. So I want y'all to make a real conscious decision not to give everything that you deem entertaining up, but a conscious decision to decide what you're connecting with. What are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your heart? And what is it telling your spirit? Because that trinity of what are you feeding your mind, what are you telling your heart, and what are you feeding your heart and what is it telling your spirit? That trinity of things directly determines your belief and knowing. And if you don't know and you don't believe, it's because of your own ignorance and your own laziness. And you only have yourself to blame for that, because there was a time, like I said, when the things that we use every day did not exist and people lived on this earth just fine. But then someday somebody woke up and said, hey, this would make things easier. It probably used to take 10,000 men to do things that one of us can do right now from a cell phone. It probably used to take 20 women to do one thing that one of us can do from our computer at home. We probably used to have to travel country to country to see the beauty of certain things, when now we can pick up our phone, Google it, and it's right there. These things are not by chance, baby. It's by design. So you need to understand that the things that you want are not happening because you don't want to do the work, you don't believe in yourself, and you don't know what you need to know to move forward. And you need to take accountability for that. Because again, you cannot minimize God into the desires of the flesh and the definitions of the flesh. God is just simply not that and never will be that. Ignorance and lack of understanding lead to suffering. Period. And a lot of people are suffering because they have chosen to remain ignorant. A lot of people are suffering because they have chosen to not have an understanding. A lot of people are suffering because they have chosen not to rise up. And that's not to say that everything that you go through from divine principle, divine law, and God as we are. There's no reason why we see God as a far-off entity instead of understanding that God is within us and all around us at all times. There's no reason other than a willful lack of knowledge, which is indeed ignorance. I started my business because when I started studying metaphysics and astrology and got deeper into my spiritual gifts, my life changed drastically. First of all, I moved into a whole nother environment. Second of all, I went from being in rooms with people who are depressed, getting drunk and high all the time. All they want to do is go out, party, do drugs, go to work 5 days a week, party on the weekends, party on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I went from doing that to being in rooms and talking to people who are spiritualists, who are empowered, who are connected, who are evolving, and who were walking the path that I wanted to walk. I went from working jobs that gave me anxiety every day to the point that I didn't want to go, so I either quit or got fired for having too many, for calling in too many times or being late, to walking in my purpose, doing what I love. And not even only just in my business, but I even have jobs where I am a psychic and astrologer. And I make money doing it. I never thought 5 years ago, 8 years ago, that was even possible. And now it's something that I'm living because I believed it and I knew it had to be, there had to be a way. I just knew. Life is not about what you want. It's about what you know and what you believe. And your belief in yourself is a catalyst in empowering you to really get into the divine truths and complexities of life, to lay a strong foundation for enlightenment, understanding, growth, and abundance. But you gotta build your relationship with God. You gotta build your relationship with the divine intelligence. You have to be willing to let the divine intelligence use you, not only for the things that you want, but to improve the world around you. That's the only way that you're gonna be able to amass the type of abundance that we feel like is unreachable. Whether it comes in the form of money, whether it comes in the form of love, whether it comes in the form of community, whether it comes in the form of food, whether it comes in the form of knowledge. It's all available. God made sure that we had access to it. And over the years, it's become easier and easier and easier and easier and easier for us to get access to it. But we are so hell-bent on telling ourselves that no, things are just continuing to get harder. Things are just continuing to get more divided. And at the surface level, at the flesh level, yes, they are. But in all actuality, what's happening is things are being exposed and revealed so that things can change. Because these systems that we've been living under are not of God, never was of God, and they're not working for the greater good of humanity. And as long as things are not working for the greater good of humanity and they're only serving a select few, God will dismantle those things. Because we are humans and we have our own free will, and there are a lot of creations and sins of man going on that need to be dismantled, of course it's going to take time. And it's also going to take help of the free will of the people who are not in agreement with these systems. Some people are going to have to die for it. Some people might have to starve for it. Some people might have to go broke for it. But guess what? At the end of the day, we're moving into a better direction for the world, not just for us. I started my business because, again, when I started studying metaphysics and astrology, my life changed. When I got into numerology and Kabbalah, my life changed drastically. I made a whole lot more money than I ever thought I would make. I made connections that I never thought I would make. I was in rooms with people who I never thought I would meet. I found the type of love that I never thought I would have. I had a wedding that I never thought I would have. I was not a little girl who grew up dreaming about her wedding and always knew she was going to walk down the aisle and I never thought that I would get married or have children. And now me and my wife talk about our kids every day like they already here, because we know that they're coming. And before we got married, we would talk about getting married because we knew it was coming. We believed it wholeheartedly and we knew it. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's how we need to be moving into 2024. Moving into this year of 8, you gotta know. It's not just what you want, it's what you know. I know that I am called to be a spiritual mentor and counselor. That is what I am called to do. I also know that not everybody takes their spiritual and mental health seriously. So in order for me to make the type of money that I want to make, I have to dig deeper in my intellectual knowledge. So that's why I'm going back to school, so I can become an LPC and incorporate my spiritual knowledge with the intellectual aspects of psychology and counseling to help people heal. I know for a fact that this work of energy healing, of mindfulness, of prayer, of meditation, of reading, and continuously sharpening my knowledge and helping others do the same, not only helps me, but helps others. I know that and I believe that 100%. I don't have no doubt about it. And that's how I've been able to do what I do. Anything is possible, but you have to believe wholeheartedly that what you're doing is not only an advantage to you, but also to the collective around you. Okay? Now, let's get into universal law. All right, and there are several universal laws. I'm only going to be talking about the main 7 in this video. Maybe in another video, I'll talk more about universal law and some additional laws. But we just going to talk about the main 7. The law of mentalism. Everything begins with the mind, okay? Our mind shapes our reality. Your brain controls your nervous system. So without your brain function, there's a lot of shit physically that you can't do. Everything starts in the mind. Thoughts are not just thoughts. Thoughts have power, especially once you speak those thoughts aloud. Your words have power. So be careful what you think. Be careful the thoughts that you decide to give energy to, because we all have intrusive thoughts. And be careful what you speak aloud. The law of correspondence, as above, so below. The microcosm reflects the macrocosm. As within, so without. As you see yourself, so you are. That's the mirror principle. Look it up. Beyonce saw herself as a mega star, and she knew that one day everybody else was going to see it. And it didn't happen right away. It didn't happen within the first 10 years of her career. It didn't happen within the first 15 years of her career. But once she was 20 years in, she started to see little pockets of it. Once she was 30 years in, it was solidified. And now Beyonce is over 40, and you can't tell her shit, because she never stopped proving herself, proving her point to herself. She never stopped competing against herself and making it a me versus me, not me versus y'all. I'm doing this for y'all. So it's not me versus y'all. Yeah, there will be some naysayers. I'm not doing this for them. I believe that those who my talent is for, those who my gift is meant to touch, it will touch them. And they will see it. They will understand it. And not just my voice, but my work ethic, my ability to create and put things together a certain type of way, my ability to be a visionary, okay? She knew it was gonna change lives. She believed that wholeheartedly, and she stuck with it. A lot of y'all don't believe in yourselves. You pretend every day like you believe in yourself, and you say, oh, I'm cute, I know who I am, I know I'm smart, I got 3 degrees, da-da-da this, da-da-da that, my man, da-da-da-da-da. But you don't believe in yourself for real, because you don't believe in your purpose. You don't believe in your dreams. You don't believe the fact that God is within you and all around you. You don't believe that you have the same power just like God gave you to create. You have to believe that. The law of correspondence says specifically, as above, so below. As you think, so you are. We got the law of vibration. Okay, everything in this universe vibrates and resonates at a specific frequency. And if you are not getting what you want, that means that you're not at the right frequency. And you need to find a way to either raise your frequency up or go on down to the frequency that you want to be at. If you want to lower it, I'm not interested in lowering down my frequency for nobody and for nothing. I've done that enough. I've cursed people out. I've fought people. I have been a borrower and not paid people back. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. In the year of our Lord 2024, I'm not about to argue with nobody over things that are outside of my control. I'm not about to be fighting and physically going back and forth with nobody. I'm going to be a lender and not a borrower. Okay? And that's just it. Like, everything in the universe vibrates and resonates at a specific frequency, and you have to figure out how to get to the frequency that you want to be at, to do the things that you want to do, to meet the type of people that you want to meet, to gain the knowledge that you want to gain. Okay? The law of polarity. Everything has its opposites. Opposites are two extremes of the same thing. Did y'all hear what I said? Opposites are two extremes of the same thing. Opposites are two extremes of the same thing. So what does that mean? That means that those two extremes exist within you. We all got a little good in us, and we all got a little evil in us. We all got a little black in us, and we all got a little white in us. We all got a little up in us, and we all got a little down in us. We all got a little round in us, and we all got a little out with us. And every opposite, everything has its opposite. And opposites are two extremes of the same thing. Not two different things, two extremes of the same thing. Just like everybody has a little masculine, everybody has a little feminine. And that is the law of gender, my friends, another universal law. But it also applies to the point that I'm trying to make. We fight so hard for these dualities. And in all actuality, this shit is going to forever exist. And it's all the same. And when we begin to understand that it's all the same and surrender to the knowing that these are just two extremes and we got to figure out where we lay in the middle and what our principles are, until we figure that out, we are going to be going through some shit. Some heavy, intense shit. Even our political system and its two opposites, Republican and Democratic, they're the same fucking party. It's just two different types of policies that they're trying to, not policies, two different types of ways that they're trying to go about doing things. But they all have the same agenda. The law of rhythm. Everything moves in cycles. Life has its ebbs and flows. That is represented by the moon. Every day, every 2.5 to 3 days, the moon is changing cycles. And the same is true for your life. Some seasons you're going to have a winning season. Some season you may take a loss. Some seasons you may have some isolation. Some seasons you may be building community. Some seasons you're sharpening your sword. Sometimes you're in a season of war. It just is what it is, and you have to be willing to move through the cycles with knowing and belief. We got the law of cause and effect. Every action has a corresponding consequence. There are reverberating consequences for every action that you take, so you need to remember that. And you may not see those consequences right away, but they are going to come. And consequences does not always equate to negative results. Consequences are just simply results of actions that you took. I am now living the consequences of my actions when I was probably 25 to 28. I don't know what was going on during that. Well, I know what was going on, but I don't know how I knew this. I just felt it in my spirit. And I kept saying, I'm going to be 28 and wealthy. 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 Like, I just knew it. From the time I turned 25, something changed in me. And I was like, girl, you're beautiful. You're intelligent. You're divine. And you're going to have everything you want in life. And you don't have to take no losses. You don't have to cut any corners. You don't have to go through any of the bullshit. You don't have to go through any of the bullshit that you once went through, and your life is going to be different. And it was. It was. It had already started changing during that time, and since then it has been different. And have I had some ups and downs? Yes, because again, life has its cycles. But everything that I have prayed for is here. And the things that are not here are in process of getting here. Okay? So you really gotta understand that consequence don't always mean a slap on the wrist. Consequence don't always mean you're getting your ass whooped. Consequence don't always mean negative karma. Sometimes consequences is just simply a result. Okay? We got the law of gender last. And law of gender is simple. Everything has masculine and feminine principles, and creation requires the interaction of both. If y'all don't get out of this male versus female war, if the trans community doesn't start understanding that they are blessed in that they were born under a certain influence of gender, but mentally they totally understand the opposite extreme of gender and accept that for what it is, we are going to be doomed as a society. Y'all want to be in a male versus female war so bad. And in all actuality, we need both to continue this world. And not just because it takes both to birth a child, but it takes both for everything. For all creation, you need some masculine energy and you need some feminine energy. They gonna have to work hand in hand. As women, if we just operated 100% in our feminine energy all the time, and we was living in our soft girl era, we wouldn't be able to create, we wouldn't be able to work, because those are masculine things. So I need y'all to be for real and have the aspiration to have balance instead of having these unrealistic aspirations that go against universal law. It makes no sense. I want you to be wise. I want you to be knowledgeable. I want you to cultivate self-belief. I want you to understand and educate yourself on universal truth so that you too can live a life of purpose and fulfillment, because we're all meant to do that. Once we do that and we align with the divine intelligence, the universe enriches our experience and we begin to live in an answered prayer. And that is not by chance, it is by design. Okay? I'm gonna read y'all a postcard from Spirit, and I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Perfect. This is so perfect. Dearest you, all your prayers are heard and mirrored back to you from the unseen realms. Be grateful. Praise things before they manifest, and always ask for the highest good. When you plead and beg, that will only bring you more reasons to plead and beg. Instead, offer your prayers as sacred gifts, as a testament to your faith in a higher power. Open up and let Spirit move through you and comfort you. Add meditation as a way to become empty, so you will be ready to be filled with inspired epiphanies, peace, understanding, and joy. In this moment, your prayers are being answered for the highest good of both you and all life. Sometimes what you pray for is not supposed to happen for you, and your prayers will be answered in surprising ways. At this moment, we are listening intently to your prayers and want you to know that your highest good is our priority. All is well. As always, you guys, please thumbs up the video, leave a comment, let me know that you were here. Subscribe if you have not, and share this to a friend that needs to hear this word, okay? You are divinely guided, heavily protected, and highly favored in all that you are and all that you do. And if no one else has told you today, you are loved, okay? You are abundant and you are free, and you deserve to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.